When a narcissist discards you, it doesn't just feel like the end of a relationship. It feels like a part of your soul got stolen. You might be wondering, was any of it real? Maybe they ghosted you overnight. Maybe they walked away when you were sick, grieving, or vulnerable. Maybe they moved on instantly, while you were still reeling in pain. This isn't just heartbreak. It's emotional devastation. But you are not crazy. You're not weak. And you're not alone. Let's walk through 11 powerful steps to cope after a narcissistic discard, starting with the one most people skip, but that you can't afford to. Tip 1. Understand what happened. It's the foundation of healing. A narcissist is someone with extreme self-focus, low empathy, and a deep need for admiration and control. When it crosses into narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, it often includes chronic manipulation, a sense of entitlement, and a fragile ego that lashes out when criticized. These relationships follow a cycle. Idealize, devalue, and discard. You might have been put on a pedestal, then slowly picked apart, then suddenly replaced. This cycle often creates a trauma bond, a powerful emotional attachment formed through intermittent reward and abuse. It's like an addiction. Your brain gets hooked on the highs of love bombing and terrified by the lows of silence, criticism, or abandonment. That's why leaving or staying away can feel like withdrawal. But knowledge is your medicine. Understanding the psychology of what happened brings clarity, and clarity brings freedom. Tip 2. Reconnect with safe, loving people. One of the most damaging effects of narcissistic abuse is isolation. Even if you had friends and family, you probably pulled away. Not because you wanted to, but because your reality was being distorted and you couldn't explain what was happening. Or they pulled away because your emotional experience was too intense. Now is the time to reconnect. Tip 3. Journal without censoring yourself. When you've been gaslit or manipulated, your inner voice often gets buried. Journaling helps you pull it back up. Write down what still hurts, what confuses you, what you miss, even if it makes no sense. You're not writing for anyone but yourself. You're reclaiming your own reality in black and white. Prompts like, what did I silence to keep the peace? What would I say to them now if I could say anything? Writing can be incredibly healing. Tip 4. Educate yourself about emotional abuse. There is no healing without understanding. Read books, watch trusted YouTube creators, join survivor forums. Learn the terms. Gaslighting. When they twist your reality or even flip the script, blaming you for their cruelty. Any future faking. Making promises they never intended to keep. Hoovering. Attempts to suck you back in after discarding you. When you start to recognize the patterns, you stop internalizing the blame. Tip 5. Set and keep no contact boundaries. Narcissists rarely leave things cleanly. They might text you after weeks of silence, or accidentally bump into you, or send you vague spiritual or emotional messages to keep the door cracked open. That's hoovering. It's not love. It's control. You don't owe them access to you. Block their number. Mute their accounts. Remove shared reminders. No contact isn't cruel. It's the path to sanity. Tip 6. Care for your body like it's in recovery, because it is. Narcissistic abuse isn't just emotional, it's physiological. You might be exhausted, anxious, foggy, or even physically ill. Prioritize basic care. Eat nourishing food. Move your body gently. Rest deeply. Hydrate. Get sunlight on your face. Try grounding tools. Put your feet on the ground and breathe. Place your hand on your heart and say, I am safe now. Let your body learn that the danger has passed. Tip 7. Work with a trauma-informed therapist. Not all therapy is created equal. You need someone who understands that narcissistic abuse and a narcissistic discard is not the same as a regular breakup, which causes pain, but doesn't leave you questioning your reality. You also need a therapist who understands complex trauma, family of origin wounds, covert emotional abuse. A trauma-informed therapist won't tell you to just move on. They'll help you unwind the beliefs that made you vulnerable to this in the first place. They'll help you rebuild self-trust and emotional safety on your own terms. Tip 8. Reclaim your identity and joy. Who were you before them? What lit you up that they minimized or mocked? Start small. Paint, dance, travel, read sci-fi. Learn to cook something new. Volunteer. The point isn't perfection, it's reconnection. You're not starting from scratch. You're remembering who you were before you were made small. Tip 9. Log off or curate your social media. Social media can be toxic when you're healing. Whether you're checking their page, comparing yourself to their new partner, or spiraling into highlight reels of happy couples, it's not helping. Give yourself permission to log off or curate a space that uplifts you. Trauma recovery creators, poetry, nature, music, inspiration. Create a digital world that feels like healing, not reopening the wound. Tip 10. Find or build a support group. Healing in isolation is hard. Even one Me Too can change everything. Look for support groups focused on narcissistic abuse, emotional neglect, or trauma bonding. You can even start your own peer circle, anonymously if needed. Just hearing, "That happened to me too," helps you release shame. There is power in community. Tip 11, bonus. Be radically, fiercely patient with yourself. You may still miss them. That doesn't make you weak. That's how trauma bonds work. You may have days where you feel okay, and others where you cry over nothing. That's normal. That's healing. That's what grief looks like when you weren't allowed to grieve. Progress is messy. But every single moment that you choose to stay with yourself, instead of chasing validation or closure from someone who harmed you, you win. Say it aloud. I am not what they did to me. I am who I become after. You will feel joy again. You will feel safe again. You will trust yourself again and love again with people who actually show up. This pain is not your identity. It's just part of your origin story. And your comeback starts now. Like and subscribe if this video brought you clarity. Remember, you are not alone. You are not too much. You are finally becoming yourself again. And you know the signs now. It was never your fault. But you also know that you will never allow yourself to be in such a dark place again.